Milo was sick last week and he was home from school, and the sickness kind of went through our house. So Michael got something, our nanny got something, and I seemed to have evaded it. And I was saying to Michael, it must be because my immune system is so strong because I take zinc and vitamin C and multivitamins, and no, I'm not immune. My body was just, waiting to express. So it's now expressing. Here we are. I don't have all the same symptoms that Milo had. He actually had RSV. I, knock on wood, don't have a cough. I just have probably like the worst stuffy nose and clogged head that I've had all year. And I guess 'tis the season. So I don't really have it in me to do an intense YouTube video this week. So what I'm instead going to show you is some house updates, because that's very exciting and things are really moving along over here in house world. A lot of our furniture is in place. As you can see, our bed frame is here. It's taken 3 months to get this bed frame here, and it's looking really good, and a lot of the house is coming together. So one thing that I want to first go to is the kitchen. And I actually pre-recorded this section talking about the kitchen just a couple weeks ago. I was sitting out on our beautiful outdoor furniture when I recorded this, so I am going to cut and show you that footage. One thing I want you to notice is when you see that footage, you will see that I'm sitting in front of like the most beautiful hydrangea flowers. Sorry, it's really hard to say hydrangea when you don't have any space in your nose. Anyway, I was sitting in front of the most beautiful purple, pink, blue hydrangea flowers, and I have never had hydrangeas in my house or on my property before, because I've never had property before. But now that we have property that has a hydrangea bush, something strange happened this year. At the first frost, I woke up on the morning when it was like 30 degrees and there was a coat of frost on the grass and everything seemed to have frozen overnight. And the hydrangeas, which were like blue, purple, bursting the night before, were brown and dead. I'm just gonna like show you out my window what they look like now. Look at them. I don't really know what I'm supposed to do about them. I don't know if I'm supposed to like cut them out and remove them or just let them disintegrate into the soil, but I'm leaving them for now. If you know what to do with hydrangeas, let me know. Anyway, let me cut to this clip and talk you through some of the changes that we made in our kitchen, which is one of my favorite renovations in the house, and then we'll come back and I'll show you some of my other favorite spots. Just want to chat home ownership for a moment and share what I think has been one of the hardest elements here, and that is the general house maintenance. Remembering to cover my outdoor furniture. When it's raining, for some reason it just escapes my mind. I will see rain on my app as like rain's coming on Saturday, and I'll make a mental note, or I'll even put it in my Google Calendar, cover the outdoor furniture. Somehow I never remember, and mid downpour I remember, and I look out the window and I see that everything's just getting soaked. And especially this season, like it's fall, there's leaves everywhere. You can see the leaves are on the couch. There are leaves, just dead crunchy leaves tucked into every crevice of this lawn furniture and sprinkled all over the rug. So I just got to figure out a better system for covering the furniture. I feel like I'm not good at maintaining things and caring for things aside from my son. Plants, furniture, I don't know. I'm not good at maintaining things. And so as a homeowner, that's something I'm working on. But anyway, it's such a beautiful fall day. So I wanted to come out here and just use this little outdoor space as a moment to share some other interior updates. The kitchen was probably the biggest transformation in this house, because if you remember, previous to us doing any renovations, the countertops were dark. There was this big matte black hood that we initially liked, but then I grew to dislike. The cabinetry was kind of this off-white yellowish color, and the kitchen saw the biggest transformation. So probably the biggest thing we did was we pulled out the whole countertop and we put on white quartz. We decided to carry that white quartz over to the oven side and actually carry it up as the backsplash to keep it really simple back there. And then we changed the hood so that it was really just wrapped in the white quartz and it disappears against the wall. We decided to change all of the cabinetry. So on the side that's opposite the stove, we just made it all plain white. And there was actually a bench back there that we got rid of, and we built up some more drawer storage. So we have 6 more drawers there, and that's been amazing for kitchen storage. And then on the stove side, we decided to use this really beautiful cerused wood for the cabinet door fronts. And I think we made a pretty genius decision here because we ended up saving so much money. So basically we wanted this cerused wood look, and if we had wanted to start from scratch with this new wood, we would have needed to pull out all of the cabinetry, knock it all down, and then rebuild it. Instead, what we decided to do was just take off the doors and replace the doors with the new cerused wood. But then of course the whole structure of the cabinet was still the old off-white color. Instead, we hired a decorative painter to come in. He painted the cabinetry that was pre-built to look exactly like the cerused wood. And he used like some incredible materials, and he matched the color perfectly. And he had this roller that added wood grain lines. I cannot tell the difference between what was painted and what's the actual cerused wood. It is incredible. To the eye, you would never know. You would think that the whole structure was new wood, but it's actually just partially painted and then partially new doors. I can't even guess how much it would have cost us to take out all the cabinetry and rebuild it all with this new, more expensive wood. But instead of whatever that would have cost, the decorative painter was like $2,500 to paint the wood. Really an amazing choice. Another major homeowner blunder that we encountered when we first got here was that within our first week in the house, there were many major appliances that were just not working. And we thought we had tested everything in the inspection, but I guess as stuff sat over the summer and there was construction, whatever the reason, we got to the house and our garage doors weren't working, our dishwasher wasn't working, our washer dryer wasn't working, and the refrigerator, which was a Sub-Zero, was super old and had been leaking water. Pretty much immediately we had to like put on our homeowner caps and make decisions on the fly of if we were going to replace some of these appliances, and that is where AJ Madison comes in. They're sponsoring this portion of today's video. They were so helpful when I came to them with all these major appliance issues, and they were really helpful at helping us figure out what to replace these with. In our kitchen, we had this Sub-Zero fridge that we ended up moving out. It's a fridge freezer. We put it in our garage, and now it's not hooked up to the water line, so it's not leaking anymore. But that's just living in our garage as kind of like a backup fridge and freezer. And then we replaced it with this Thermador column smart fridge and freezer. I'll pop up like the actual name of the product here in case anyone's interested. It is just such a gorgeous fridge and freezer on the inside. Has so much storage and space. You can readjust the shelving. In New York City, we had one of those drawer freezers where all of my stuff was like stacked on top of each other and I couldn't see anything, especially when it came to breast milk. It was really hard to store. And so maybe for a future time of breastfeeding, this freezer will serve me better. It's panel ready, so we ended up paneling it with the cerused wood. We put the gold hardware on it so it can be just a regular pull to open fridge. But one really cool thing about this fridge and freezer is that you can also just push the door gently and then it opens it's like a smart touch to open fridge. I've never seen that. And then for the dishwasher, we replaced it with a Bosch dishwasher. It's actually the same one we had in New York City and we loved it so much. It has that top drawer for all of your little utensils. Something about the way that it rolls is just so smooth. Like I've had dishwashers that you open and they slam or like they fall off the tracks. It's also panel ready, so he just put a white panel on it to match all the paneling on the island, and it was a perfect choice. If you need any appliances for your home, I would highly recommend AJ Madison. They make everything you could think of, and they're also just so helpful. I called them on the phone, I walked them through the specs and the dimensions of the spaces, and they gave me a whole sheet with all these options of what we could get for those spaces. We're also going to get our washer dryer from them when we replace this one. We spent like the whole first week in this house draining out manually the front load washer. So that's in the works too. But thank you so much to AJ Madison for sponsoring this portion of the video. You guys are the best. Here is the way our bedroom looks with the final bed in place. I'm really loving this new minimal way of making my bed. 2 pillows stacked neatly on each side. It's very calming. You've probably seen the beams, but these are the new beams we added to the ceiling, and they really make the room height seem even higher. And then our TV is finally here. It just got mounted recently, so here's the bedroom. Here's a little peek at Michael's office because the built-ins are now done. I love the blue color of the walls. This color is called Hail Navy by Benjamin Moore. I absolutely just die for the green trees and grass contrasting with the color of this room. Here's Michael's desk area, and and he's gonna put a chair here, obviously, and he's thinking of getting one of those standing desk riser things so that he can work standing up and sitting down. And he also has this closet on this side. This room is amazing. I love that the ceiling in here was painted too. It just really, like, when you walk into this room in person, it just sort of transports you to a totally new place. Our dining area just makes me so happy the way the light comes into this space. It is perfect the way it lands on this table. And this picture window, the best addition to the house, I've got to say, continues to surprise and delight. Every day as we wake up, the view out there is different. There was a point at which it was really green, then it was bright yellow. Now, like, the yellow leaves are starting to kind of come off, and you're getting a clearer view at the evergreen tree that's behind it, but it really is just quite the view, and I can't wait for this to be snow covered. I just love in this spot of the house the amount of windows and all the light that comes in. Right now it's about 4 p.m. and this is the afternoon light, but there is light coming in these windows all day. The sun just sort of moves and angles as it goes. And one more major update out here since I last filmed is that our garden is officially set up and assembled, and I actually worked with this small gardening business in town to set it all up, get the planter beds built, get the deer fence put around it, get the soil put in. I think they're gonna plant for me 15 garlic bulbs for the winter, which just lay dormant in the winter and then apparently start popping up in the spring, and then they're gonna come back in the spring and help me with all the spring vegetables. But let me just show you what it looks like. So here's the outdoor furniture, here are the dead hydrangeas, and then here is the garden. And I'm just gonna walk barefoot to get to it to show you. Oops, a little muddy. This was a really bad decision. Okay, anyway, here's the garden. I plan on coming here barefoot a lot in the spring and summer. It's probably a 6-foot deer fence. And then we've got a little latch, and when you go inside, it's like a little T-shaped walkway with the planter beds all around the outside. That was a really bad decision. Now I gotta figure out getting inside. Oops. Just waiting for Michael to bring me a towel because my feet are filthy. And I officially covered our outdoor table here for winter. It kind of came with these 2 triangular things here and here, which are so smart because they raise it up and they're supposed to make it so that water doesn't pool. Obviously, it's still, oops. Whenever I enter a new season, like right now, it's turning into winter. We're getting into a new time of year. It's almost the New Year time, but it's not quite New Year's resolution time. But I do always feel that fresh start effect at the start of a new season, and I feel like I can achieve the things that I'm setting out to do. So I just want to share what's been kind of on my trajectory of things I'm attempting to do, and maybe it will inspire you to try to do something similar for yourself. So firstly, I'm sitting in front of the sun, which is what made me think of this. Morning sun exposure. When it was still nice outside, like before I put that cover on our table outside, I was doing a pretty good job every morning at taking my cup of coffee outside and sitting at our picnic table on the porch, getting morning sun for like 10 to 15 minutes while I had my hot coffee. And I was also following this YouTube video of neck exercises that are really useful for people who, like, now we're in this digital age where we're always sitting with our necks jutted out. So it was a lot of weird but supposedly good for your neck exercises. I can link the video up top for anyone who has neck pain or just wants to improve your neck mobility. I was doing that video like every day, sitting in the sun for a good couple weeks. Then I covered the table. It started to get frosty and cold, and now I have nowhere to sit out there anymore. So what I've been doing now is first thing in the morning when I wake up, I'm getting dressed in sweatpants and a sweatshirt and just getting myself bundled up to be able to go outside. And as soon as Michael leaves the house with Milo, because Michael always does morning drop off at school. So as soon as Michael and Milo get themselves into the car and drive away, I'm stepping out and I'm doing a 10-minute morning walk just to get sun exposure, mostly on my eyes. It's not like I have my body out. It's freezing cold. So I'm in a sweatshirt and sweatpants and often a jacket, but I'm not wearing sunglasses and I'm just getting my eyes exposed to the light. I know this is really good for setting your circadian rhythm, telling your body that it's morning, hopefully producing cortisol for your day, and then knowing when to create melatonin naturally for the nighttime. Goal number 2 is I've been working a lot on breathing exercises, and specifically the Wim Hof breathwork exercise. I actually found this podcast episode that's like a 10-minute follow along Wim Hof breathing technique, really intense breathing for 30 rounds and then a pause, then a deep breath in and holding for another 10 to 15 seconds and then out. And you do that cycle 3 times. If you're curious about it, I'll put a link down below for the podcast that I've been listening to, which is obviously free, but it's just a guided Wim Hof breathing exercise. I've been getting really into this breath work, mostly in conjunction with some of the cold plunging that I've been doing, which you saw in my last video. It's just felt really good for me to either start my day with a little Wim Hof sequence or to infuse it in the middle of the day. And my third goal revolves around sleep. And specifically now that there was daylight savings and the clocks jumped back an hour, Milo's waking up and it is an hour earlier than he normally wakes up, which the first day of daylight savings, that did not matter at all because we all got our normal amount of sleep. But now, like, Michael and I are going to bed according to the clock, and then Milo's still waking up an hour earlier than he used to. So we're like all losing an hour of sleep. And I just have a real goal to put myself to bed early. It's such a struggle. I don't know why. I think I need to do like another video about sleep because I track it all on my Oura Ring. I'm obsessed with my sleep scores. I look at my HRV levels, my deep sleep. There's a lot of markers that I track and that I try to improve, and I'm just really in tune and in touch with my sleep. I can tell you when I wake up in the morning based on how I feel what type of sleep score I'm gonna have, and that just shows how accurate the scoring is. I find that at the end of the day, Michael and I always want to enjoy a show together and unwind and watch a show. We've just had a whole day of each doing our own separate works. Then we put Milo to sleep together. Then we maybe ate something or sat and had dessert, and we just want to get in bed and like relax and watch something. And there's such good TV on. We're currently watching Lessons in Chemistry, and so we don't want to go to sleep. But if I don't go to sleep until it's like in the 11s or heaven forbid the 12s, it's just not enough sleep for me. I know that I need 7.5 to 8.5 hours of sleep. And I know what you're saying. I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, well, if you wake up at 7:30, then, which by the way, I'm not because of Milo, but if you wake up at 7:30, then you can go to sleep at midnight, and that's 7.5 hours of sleep. No, I could tell from my Oura score that I'm not asleep all night. If I want to get 7.5 hours of sleep, I actually need to be going to bed 8.5, maybe even 9 hours before that wake up to get 7.5 hours of good sleep. So yeah, that's where we're at with sleep. That's just another major goal. Anyway, I hope you're loving the house updates. I'm really excited to do another video where I really deep dive and show you everything. And I'm also working on an offering for you guys that's just a free download thing. You can enter your email to get it, and it will give you all the links to everything in our house, including furniture, rugs, paint color of, all the paint color and the tiles and just all the materials we used for the house. If you're renovating or decorating, it will be great for you. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for coming back to my channel. I'm gonna go relax, maybe do some more breath work, and I will see you next time. Bye.